Oh, yeah.
I can't hear you.
Saule, you can't hear?
Yes, yes. No, yes. Now I can hear you.
Okay. Professor Marston, do you want to go?
So my name is Jan Marston. I'm retired from Drake University, which is very close to my house from where I'm speaking to you. I live in Iowa, and that's in the Midwest. I will show you a map when we have the time. I'm a specialist in medieval French languages and literatures. I speak French and Spanish, as well as English. I really like Russian history a lot. I like history a lot, but I don't speak Russian at all. You will meet my cats because they like to walk in front of the camera. I have 2 cats, and I live with my husband in a house that is almost 120 years old. That's rare for this country. So that's the short story about me. Professor Lero?
Good morning. Morning. Thank you, Professor Marston. My name is Joe Lero, and I live in Austin, Texas. Austin, as you know, is the capital of the great state of Texas. And I'm very proud of Austin. I like the city a great deal. My wife and I live here with our cat, Sophie Sunshine. And like Professor Marston, my cat likes to come sit with me during these classes. I don't know where she is right now. But I have two children, a daughter and a son, and my son and his family live in Milwaukee, which is in the north on Lake Michigan, and they have 2 boys. I have 2 grandsons, and my daughter and her family live in Houston, a big city in Texas, and they have 2 little girls. So I have 4 grandchildren, and I'm retired, but I still teach Russian. I teach a course or 2 each semester at Austin Community College, which is a school here, a booze here that has about 45,000 students. It's a very big school. So that's what I know. I've been to Omsk once, and I'm also about to say I've been to Sochi once. Though the Sochi that I see on television here is much different from the Sochi I saw, 25 years ago. Thank you. I'm looking forward to working with you this semester.
Good morning. My name is Pete Smith, and I'm delighted to join Professors Marston and Lero and Storm in our group on Tuesday mornings this semester. I am also in Texas. I am in Arlington, Texas, and I think we're going to need to put a map up here in a minute and let you see where we all reside. I am at the University of Texas and have been a teacher and an administrator for some years. I began teaching with Professor Lero probably 25 years ago.
25 years ago.
Met Professor Marston probably 20 years ago, so we are long colleagues and have known Professor Storm for many years, as first she was a student and now a graduate student, and so we are a teaching team that has worked together for a long time, and we enjoy working together and working with you as students. My particular area of interest is language and technology and culture, and where those three topics meet. And our class on Tuesday mornings is a wonderful example of exactly the sort of classes and learning that I am interested in. So it's a delight for me to join you all this morning or this evening as well. One of the first things we're going to do this morning is go around the virtual room and ask everybody to introduce themselves. So as we call on you, we'll ask you to say a little bit about yourself. Tell us who you are and where you study or teach, and a little bit about why and how you engage with English. Whatever you want to tell us, we're interested to learn, and we want to get to know you quite well over the course of the semester. So why don't we go in alphabetical order, and we'll ask Ekaterina if she can introduce herself and tell us a little bit about herself. So Ekaterina, do you want to start us off?
Hi everyone, my name is Ekaterina. You can call me Kate if you want. I study chemistry at the Omsk State University, and I really like chemistry and science. Also, I like to read, I like literature, I like study foreign languages. I like cats, and I have one. Her name is Bushinka. I don't know.
Could you type her name into the chat so we can all see her name?
The name of my cat?
It sounds like we are going to be a group of cat lovers, possibly. Well, Ekaterina, very nice to meet you.
Yeah, I have a question for you. Did you say that we can call you Kate? Is that what you said, Kate?
Yes.
Kate. Because my daughter is Kate. Well, that's what we call my daughter. Her name is Catherine, but we call her Kate. Kate, it's nice to have you as a member of our group. You and your cat, Vishenka. Was that right?
Excellent.
Would you tell Professor Marston what that name means? Kate?
Bushinka.
Oh, Bushinka. Bushinka.
It's a pretty name, but I have no clue what it might mean to you.
Katerina, can you explain that name to Professor Marston, Bushinka? What does it mean?
Bushinka is a... I don't know how to say it in English.
It's a bit, it's like bishop, yeah?
Yes.
Sorry, I didn't understand. It's a what?
I think we're agreeing that it's sort of like bushy. Bushi is a necklace.
Necklace.
Is a necklace. Bushi is a necklace. So this is like
bead, right?
I get it.
Right.
Bead.
A little piece of a necklace, yes. Ah, very nice.
That's an interesting name.
Yeah. I collect beads, so I'm glad to know that. That's an unusual name. I also wanted to point out, if you haven't noticed, that when there is some difficulty in communicating between the languages, the chat is extremely useful, and you can give clarification. So you will notice if you have it closed that it turns red if someone adds something. So welcome, Kate.
Thank you.
Why don't we ask Elizaveta to introduce herself?
Hello, my name is Lisa. Maybe you can call me Lisa. I'm a student from Omsk State University. I study physics. Maybe I surprised you, but I love cats too. I have 2 cats. Their names are Yeva and Nura. It's Nura. It is a Russian name. Yeva is the name of the first woman in this world.
Yes.
That's all that I can say now. I know English a little bit, and I'm so confused.
Well, I will tell you, your English will improve. And I think you will find today it sounds like we will speak very quickly, but you will quickly come to engage with our class. So your cat is named after Tereshkova, right, Valentina? The first woman in space, I believe.
Yes.
Very nice. And Carly has pointed out that she may be the only one without a cat.
Yeah, we'll have to hear from her.
From the rest of the group.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Lisa, you study physics, eh? And Kate, you study chemistry. Is that correct?
Yes.
So we have two basic sciences, 2 basic science people. Are you all very logical and very systematic and organized?
Sometimes we are logical and systematic.
I see.
Very nice. Let's ask Nastya to tell us a bit about herself. Nastya, please.
Hello, my name is Nastya. I study in Omsk, University. I study math. I will be a mathematician, and also I study IT. I'm the second one who hasn't got a cat. So I just entered the university in this year. I graduated from school, and I'm on a first course.
Very nice. So a third year student.
You're a 3rd year student?
Hmm?
Are you a 3rd year student?
3rd year student, Nastya?
3rd year student?
No, first.
First year student.
First year student.
Oh, I didn't understand the last thing you said. That you're on what kind of course are you?
Short course?
No. I'm a first year student.
Okay.
Just that's it. About learning English, now I practice with my tutor in order to pass IELTS exam.
Very nice. So a chemist, a physicist, and a mathematician. Very nice. Well, good to meet you, Nastya.
I'm hoping that we will have a poet before the day is out.
Professor Lero is hoping for a poet.
We may have a poet anyway. Mathematicians and other scientists can be very good at poetry.
Aha.
So don't lose hope, Joe.
I'll ask next Saula, please, to tell us a bit about herself. I believe she's a teacher, correct? A faculty member.
Yes. I'm a sociology instructor in Omsk University, and I will split your systematic group. I'm not a mathematician and chemistry, or I'm a sociologist. I graduated our university too, and I'm an instructor for 5 years. But there was no place for me in academic group, so I will study in this group. I hope I will not interrupt your group, and I can bring something useful and get something useful from you. So.
Well, welcome. You are
I don't have a cat.
No cat. Well, welcome. No interruption at all. We are delighted to have you,
Thanks.
and I know you will contribute wonderfully.
Thanks.
No cat and not a scientist. See, Joe, we're getting closer.
We are.
Vladislav, do you want to tell us a bit about yourself? Introduce yourself.
Yes, I would like to say something about me. I study physics. My faculty is physics faculty. It is my favorite subject in university. But that's all.
So you're a physicist, and what year are you in your studies, Vladislav?
What year?
Are you a first-year student? Or
Yes,
year?
first year.
First-year student. And I have to ask, Vladislav, do you have a cat?
Please ask me again.
So do you own a cat or no?
No.
Oh, okay.
Sort of a strange question out of context.
Yes.
just joined us, so it's, what do you study? And then
Yes, we have been talking. Yes, Vladislav, we have been talking about pets, and many of the students in this group own cats. So I had to ask. It's a bit of a strange question.
No, I have a dog.
A dog, okay. So a pet owner. Very nice.
Dogs are great too.
Yeah, very much. Well, good to meet you, Vladislav. And Dasha, can you introduce yourself and tell us a bit about you?
My name is Dasha. I'm 19 years old, and I'm at Nastya studying math and IT, and we are group mates and friends, and also we are ex-classmates. So we graduated from same school, and I haven't got a cat, but I like cats.
Very nice. Well, Joe, you may be our resident poet. I'm not sure.
Well, I think so, but maybe by the end of the semester we'll have an occasion ladies and gentlemen, for you all to work with a piece of poetry or two. Well, we'll see.
So I think we've got everybody for today. I wanted to throw a phrase into the chat. We are going to think about introductions. So you all just introduce yourself to us. You told us your name, where you're from, what you study. In English, we have this wonderful phrase, elevator speech. I wonder if somebody could volunteer to tell me what an elevator speech is. That's an odd phrase. Does that phrase sound familiar to anybody?
No.
Everybody shaking your head no. It's a way to introduce yourself that's very short, usually about 3 sentences. And let's say that I met Saula on the elevator, and we get on at the first floor, and she's going to get off at the fourth floor. And we need to introduce ourselves to each other. We have 20 seconds, maybe 25 seconds. So I can say about 3 things, and she can say about 3 things. So I might say, hi, my name is Pete Smith. I'm a teacher and administrator, and I work here at the University of Texas. It's not a full introduction. It cannot be a full introduction because you only have about 3 sentences. And what we will ask you to do at the end of class for next week is to prepare an elevator speech for yourself. And we will write this on the screen and tell you about it. It will be one of your zadachi to work on at home, so that you have a long introduction about yourself, but also a short introduction about yourself that you can use on the elevator. But you can also use it on the street, or you could maybe use it on the phone, but it's a way to keep your introduction very short. So Professor Lero, if I saw you on the elevator this morning, what might you tell me?
I would say my name is Joe Lero, and I teach at the community college, and I have two children and 4 grandchildren, and I like to work in the garden.
So notice how Professor Lero, his long introduction had many details, but his elevator speech was much shorter. And he did something that is wonderful for elevator speeches. He mentioned his garden. He gave us a way to connect, right? If he had stopped and not told me about his garden, I would have smiled and sort of filed the information away. But when he mentioned his garden, I would say, oh, I garden too. And that gives us a connection. So the last item in your elevator speech may have that little, we call it a hook, that would help continue conversation. So that's a great way to do it. And as you will find, Professor Lero and Professor Marston are both gardeners. So Professor Marston, if you saw me in an elevator, what would your elevator speech sound like?
Hi, I'm Jan Marston. I love languages, and I like to learn about other cultures. And I still teach, even though I'm officially retired. And I have 2 cats. I like to garden, and I blog a little bit.
Very nice. And Carly, if we met on an elevator in Finland this morning, what would you tell us?
Let's see. My elevator speech would probably be So I'd start by saying, I'm Carly Storm. I'm an American living and working and studying in Finland. And I also love languages, learning as many languages as I can. And I like meeting people from different cultures and trying different foods.
Very nice.
So, so we have this term, elevator speech, which is a very brief, very compact, statement. I guess you could stretch that term and you could say, well, oh, how are you doing today, Professor Smith? And he would say, I'm doing fine. Today I had an elevator romance. An elevator romance. And what do you think that would be? Anyone, one of your students, what would an elevator romance be? Vladislav, what is an elevator romance?
I don't know. What is it?
Kate, Lisa? Anyone?
Romance, elevator romance.
An elevator romance, yeah. What do you think that might mean?
This sounds like you will talk about love, romance.
Well, okay. Anyone else? Nastya? Dasha? I don't know. Saleh, what do you think? What would an elevator
I have
romance?
some jokes, but they more stupid than than right. Elevator romance, it's very useful elevator speech.
Okay. What do you think? What do you think, Professor Marston? What might an elevator romance be?
Well, the first thing that struck me was love at first sight. And then the next thing was to find something about someone that makes you, it's kind of like love at first sight.
Yeah.
To be so taken with someone that you want the whole relationship to last longer than, but I have to get off at the third floor.
Right. I think maybe that's what I had in mind, that it's a love at first sight, and it's a very instant attraction, but it lasts a very short time because we go our different ways on when we come to our floor.
One of the features I think you will find of all of us, like you, we like to work with languages, and we like to play with words and think about words. And so now all day, Professor Lero, I'm going to be thinking about elevator romances.
Elevator.
I wanted just to say here that the thing that most students that I have worked with who have your level of competence in language all say, oh, it's so hard to understand native speakers. And this is a common experience. So I have good news for you. In about 2 or 3 hours of listening to us, you're going to find out that we're much easier to understand than you think we are today. So normally you might only understand half of what we say on a day like this. And the advantage that teleconferencing has over being face-to-face in the same room is that we have this wonderful facility, the chat, and you will be able to save the chat as a text at the end of the course or any time. And I would strongly suggest that you do this. But I want to encourage you because this gets better fast. And so I wanted to suggest also one strategy that you can use if you don't understand. Instead of saying, I don't understand, say, I don't understand elevator, because it's a way that you can help the person who's speaking knowing what you don't understand, if you can do that. And so you can say, even if you don't understand the word, you can say, I don't understand what you said right before speeches. What was that? What is that thing? It sounded to me like blah, blah, blah. Sometimes this is a help, but be encouraged, because only a little bit of experience will improve your comprehension. And use the chat. Okay, back to you, Pete.
Actually, Professor Marston, I was going to ask you to talk a little bit about our course and its elements. If we opened a whiteboard, should we take notes for the group here?
Oh, that'd be fun.
Sure.
So as we begin our course this morning, we would like to talk about the elements that are in it, the various tasks you will do, the various homework you will have, and in fact, perfect. Is that either Professor Storm or Professor Marston typing there on the whiteboard? Professor Marston, I'll pass it over to you.
Okay, so this is Professor Storm doing the typing. I do appreciate this. First of all, this is not like any language course you have probably had this fall. The main thing is to look at language in context, and that means it's cultural context. Why do we say the things that we do? And do you speak the same way to a child that you would to a professor and or your best friend? There are levels of language which we'll consider, but we'll also, besides the knowing something about the rituals of the way people behave. How do you behave when you meet somebody? What's appropriate to do if you're at a conference? How can you interpret what you hear? And is it okay to interrupt, for example? And who speaks first? And how do you persuade people? And so this is part of it. The cultural context is the main part of our study. And this course is called America and Americans Today. So we won't focus on history or grammar. We will try to give you a variety of experiences in communication. How do you express what you want to say? And how can you understand, make sure you're understanding what is being said to you? So we will have weekly assignments for you to do before you come to class. And I believe you will already have seen Professor Shesakov's assignment about the oral fluency assignment. And as soon as you will have finished this, I will be reading it, for example, and listening to it, and I will give you feedback on that assignment. So finishing the homework assignment is part of your practice. You will have a variety of homework assignments that involve your reading, listening, preparing speaking tasks of various kinds, and writing. We will not ask you to write a lot, but we will ask you to write short things and maybe to do them more than once. Because we are a collaborative group of teachers, you will see that we work together regularly, and we will take on a variety of topics, including history, politics, humor,
literature.
Thank you, literature. And this will be particularly American literature, American humor. But while we are looking at those things, you may be asked to think about the literature of your language and culture and how it might compare, and your history and what things you might find different about those things. So first we're going to be looking at cultural behaviors, because it gives us a way to compare people's. And so this is not like a regular course in that you will not have a large exam at the end. And you have these small assignments that have due dates. One thing to know about Americans is we obsess about deadlines and time. For us, it's important to do things on time. And so you will want to be sure to turn your work in when it's due. And you will also want to come to class on time, and because that's an important part of it. We would like to, I want to just make one note about the technical aspect. The only way you can participate in this course is to be able to speak. So it's important that you master the technical parts of this course, which are going to be speaking and listening. You have to be able to do those in order to function. So if you are not studying IT, then I suggest you make friends with those among you who do, and see if you need some help that you can get it. And I would encourage you to make sure that you always come in, do a mic check and a video check. It's very hard to understand people when you can't see them. And so you're not getting the full picture if there is somebody without a video camera. And a lot of times it's also important for you to look and see that your mouth is visible. So, for example, you might find it a lot harder to understand me if you can't see my mouth and my facial expression. So it's part of your responsibility to come check your equipment every time when you get here. Now, I
want to say one thing about culture, because we've used that word several times it's underlined a couple times on the whiteboard, that we're looking at language in a cultural context. Culture. But think, ladies and gentlemen, about what culture is. What does that mean? Well, culture is one of the things that defines a people. Just the way language is one of the things that defines a people. And when I say people, I have people in the sense of that Russian word "narod," which is kind of like there's not a good English equivalent for that. And the thing that's important to note about culture is that a people defines its own culture, and culture is cultural aspects are neither right nor wrong. There are a lot of Americans who say, "Oh, those British, they drive on the wrong side of the road." You know, in the United States, when we drive on the right side of the road. The British drive on the left side of the road. Well, for heaven's sake, what makes the American way of driving right and the British wrong? They might say the same thing about us. Cultures are not right or wrong. Cultures are just different. And the important thing for us to keep in mind as we work this semester is that however different they are, we have to respect those cultures and have to come to understand that these things are not stereotypes. They're not cliches about people, but they are a way to define a people, and they deserve to be treated with great respect. Well, anyway, that's my very long elevator speech about culture.
I'd have stayed on the elevator, Professor Lero.
Me too, and hope for a tall building.
Yeah.
So what we're doing here is complex, and it's really hard to say in a few words anything that of the course. And part of the reason is what we do will depend on you. This is not a course where we present you a body of work which is finished before you walk in the door, so to speak, the virtual door. We will present you some things to think about and talk about. That's our part of it. Your job is to be a contributor so that we can get your reactions and your ideas and come to a point of understanding about our different cultures. One of the things that I really enjoy about working with the students of American English that I have had up till now is finding out about your culture and finding out how it's different from the cultures that I have experienced and live in. Which brings me to another point. You can't say there is an American culture. There are so many subcultures, and everyone thinks the one they're living in is the real one. And it's really interesting to me to see how much variety there is. And but you can get a sort of general idea with lots of examples. So Professor Smith, do you have anything to add?
No, I think we're going to dive right into it here. And as Professor Marston said, if you have any questions about the course as it goes forward this semester, please communicate with us, let us know, and we're glad to help you and to be part of the learning experience with you. I brought some photos today to start us off because this week in the United States, we had a holiday. And the holiday is known as President's Day. So yesterday, Monday, was the holiday, and schools were closed, and the federal government was closed. Let's talk a little bit about this holiday. Nastya, why don't I start with you? What would you imagine we would celebrate on President's Day? What's the main topic of a holiday called President's Day, Nastya?
Of President's Day?
Yeah.
Does it connect it with president? Yes.
Yeah, and in particular, current president or past presidents? Usually past presidents. I think we celebrate in February because two very famous presidents had their birthdays in February. One was Abraham Lincoln. You can see his name there in the chat. And who was the other one, Nastya?
Washington.
Yeah, Washington, our first president. So George Washington was the first president, and Lincoln, I believe, was our 16th president, possibly, right?
Oh, yes.
And what did you do yesterday, Professor Lero, to celebrate the holiday?
I went to work. I didn't have a holiday.
So you did not get a holiday.
I did not. I did not. Did you go to work?
I went to work as well, unfortunately. And Marston, what did you do for the holiday?
Well, I did go out in the afternoon. In the morning, it was very snowy and icy, so I didn't go to my usual yoga class. But in the afternoon, it was nice, and we went out to Starbucks for coffee in the afternoon. And while I was there, I talked to some people who said that lots of people were off work because of the holiday. So I know that it is celebrated differently in Iowa than it is in Texas. I have a granddaughter in Texas, and she didn't have school yesterday, but the school children here went to class. I think they had a delayed start because we had quite a heavy snowfall, but they did go to class. And so one of the reasons that we did have two holidays celebrating George's birthday and Abe's birthday, and then I don't know, maybe 25 years ago we put them together because this is a holiday that's always been unevenly celebrated among the states. What is common for everybody is that banks are closed and federal offices are closed. But for a long time in the South, Abraham Lincoln's birthday was not celebrated.
Mm-hmm.
And that was as a result of the Civil War. It's not a favorite holiday.
No.
So the number one holiday, that's a big question. For Americans in general, maybe the 4th of July, Independence Day.
That's a good one. But for me, it's Thanksgiving.
Oh, that's another huge one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty exclusively American, too. Other people have Thanksgiving, but we believe ours is the best.
It is.
Cultural relativism out the window.
Out the window. Well, so here we have this. This is a very famous national monument. It's in. Is it in North Dakota or South Dakota? Where is this?
I think it's North Dakota.
North Dakota. This is called Mount Rushmore. And I don't know, early in the 20th century, these heads of 4 presidents were sculpted there in the mountain. Now, Kate, let's start with you. Can you name any of these presidents?
No.
No?
There's a hint. The hint is 2 of those 4 we've already talked about today.
Okay. Lisa, Nastya, Saleh, Vladislav, Dasha. Who are these guys?
May I say?
Yes.
The first head is Washington, maybe.
It is.
And the 4th is Lincoln.
Exactly right. So we have Washington on the left and Lincoln on the right. And how about the 2 guys in the middle?
These are hard. These are hard.
Do you think it's disrespectful to refer to the presidents as guys? Who are these 2 guys in the middle?
They are not so famous in our country.
Yeah. Okay. Does anyone have a guess? So if you...
As I remember, one of them is Roosevelt.
Is what?
Roosevelt. No.
No. The one on the
maybe
the
Jefferson.
Second. Who said Jefferson?
Me. So
Very, very good. The second one is Thomas Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson. And you know, he's brilliant. He's a scholar and a theoretician and he was also a very famous gardener. He was a good gardener, Thomas Jefferson. He's president, and who else? Well, he's most famous in the United States for his work on the Constitution. Okay, and this guy, old number 3. He's number 3. Now, when I was a kid, I could not understand why he was in that group. You know. Well, but if you stand back and say, well, this monument was carved at the beginning of the 20th century, well, that's a big clue. That'll give you a clue to who it was. Nastya says Roosevelt. Now, we had 2 Roosevelts. We had Franklin Roosevelt. We had Franklin Roosevelt, and it should be well known to the Russians, of course. And we had Theodore Roosevelt. Theodore Roosevelt, who was a president at the beginning of the 20th century. Teddy Roosevelt. Teddy Roosevelt. Teddy Roosevelt. And he was a soldier and a hunter, and I'm not sure how this happened, but he also gave his name to a very popular children's toy called the teddy bear. That's what teddy. Do all of you know what a teddy bear is?
Yes.
Okay. Teddy bear. You know.
No.
So that's Teddy Roosevelt. I don't know if I would like to be famous for having a bear named after me, but I guess if you have to have some reason to be famous, that would be a good one. Who drew the little bear there? Carly, is that you?
Emotionally.
Carly has many talents.
Carly has that's really good.
I love that.
Okay, that's good. Now
let's go back, Professor Lero, to I brought some ads in.
President's Day. Yeah. So we have.
At the bottom of your screen, you can see the magnification percentage. You may want to shrink the picture so you can see all the way down to the bottom.
Yeah.
Professor Lero, on President's Day, what might Americans do? Well, let's ask some of the Russians first. What might we do on President's Day? What could you do on a holiday that's devoted to presidents? What kind of activities do you think would be common? Dasha, if you were in America on President's Day, what activities do you think you would do? Dasha, are you with us?
Yes.
What would be a good activity for the holiday President's Day? What kind of activity might you do, Dasha?
Maybe meet my friends or spend my free time with family. I think that kind of activity.
Maybe celebrate the presidents or think about, maybe you'd go to a monument or something like that. Well, in the United States, it's a very famous day for sales in the store. Yes, Professor Marston has put in the chat, we buy stuff. That's very American. And in particular, for reasons I do not understand, one of the most popular items on President's Day is to sell mattresses. So if you scan down the ad to the bottom, who can help us here? Vlad, what do you see the mattresses at the bottom of the ad?
Yes, I see.
What can you tell me about those mattresses? What information do you see about them?
I see a price.
Yeah.
So a photo, name.
So you see the mattress, very nice. You see the price.
Right.
And there are two prices, right?
old price and price with sale.
Yeah, very good. The full price, right, or the normal price, and then the price with the sale. And then you see the brand name, right?
The brand name.
Yeah, here.
And something, and two words about mattresses. Hi.
Yeah, some words about them. So, for example, this mattress has a lot of cushioning, very, very soft.
Very soft.
This mattress has comfort and support, right? It's maybe a harder mattress. And durability. And what about this thing? It says queen set. What does that tell us about the mattress, Bob?
Queen set.
Does it mean that a queen sleeps on it? Probably not. We rate the sizes of the mattress, how big it is. The biggest mattresses are king size. Yeah, these are queen size mattresses, and you can buy them. And for some reason, you can even save the sales tax. I'm not sure I understand that. Professor Lero or Marston, is it a tax-free holiday for mattresses on President's Day? I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't know.
Very good, Vlad. Good reading. Here is a second ad. Kate, I see you on the screen. What information do you see in this ad? Can you give me some of the information that you see?
Size.
Let's have Kate do this one.
I also see that it has sale.
Yeah, and how much off do you get?
50, 60%.
Yeah, 50 to 60% off. Very nice. What else do you see, Kate?
I see that it's very comfortable.
Yeah, lots of words about comfort, right? There's comfortable right there.
So also I can see a size and brand name of these mattresses.
Yeah, look at that, Vlad. Exactly. So here are the sizes, right? The smallest one.
And name shop where I can buy it. I think.
Yeah,
the brand names down here.
What about this creature here over on the right? What's this? Someone.
That you will sleep and you don't have to count sheep.
Aha, count sheep. Yeah. So a sheep is a like a symbol of sleeping, huh?
Insomnia. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I think it is not a good idea.
To count sheep.
Yes.
Well, if you can't fall asleep, so what can you do? You can count sheep. That's what else can you do?
If I can't fall asleep, firstly I open the window and and it's often helps me to fall asleep.
Okay, so you count sheep, open the window. Kate, what can you add something to that? Kate, please. Count sheep, open the window. Lisa?
When I can't fall asleep, I read books, and it helps me I'm tired when I read, and I can fall asleep.
Okay, that's good. That's what I do. I read.
And may I add something?
Sure.
I sometimes I listen to music.
Okay.
Relax music for relax, for relax and fall asleep.
Okay, we have 4 things so far, right? Nastya, can you add a 5th?
The best way to fall asleep for me is to think about the day which was, and think what I will do tomorrow, and
okay, you kind of reflect on the day. That you might say you reflect on what you did that day and plan for the next day. Okay, those are all good ways to fall asleep. Those are all good ways to fall asleep. Some other people say exercise. Maybe exercise would help you fall asleep.
And Carly added a glass of warm milk.
A glass of warm milk.
That was actually a jump off of Saule said, drinking a glass of milk. And that's one thing that I've never done it, but you know, it seems to be something parents or grandparents would always suggest.
And are there some chemicals in milk that help, I wonder?
I haven't the slightest idea. I always thought that it was just the warm, a warm liquid, being that it's kind of soothing, just like taking a warm bath in the nighttime, or a bubble bath. That's something that can be very relaxing. So maybe that was always my rationale. But considering I don't much like milk, caffeine-free tea was another tea with honey or something.
Tea with honey.
Or if you were young enough, you could cuddle with your teddy bear.
Yes.
And where is it?
The commonplace. The commonplace is if you can't sleep, you can't sleep. That's why it's in this ad. It's because whether anybody does it or not, it's the commonplace. And what it says in the ad is about the mattress, so comfortable you'll never count these dies again.
Yeah, right. The negative, right?
Yes. And the poor little sheep looks so abandoned.
Yeah.
Now there's one more piece I thought that was also very representative of U.S. culture.
We have a new member, someone who joined us late, Andrei Panyavin.
Is your microphone on, Andrei?
Sorry, what?
Your microphone is on. Welcome.
Yeah. Oh.
In looking at this ad, do you see anything that you might consider, say, a gift or an extra if you buy the mattress?
Yes, there is extra 5% off.
Oh, yeah, very good. I didn't see that. Yeah, extra 5% off. What else extra, Andre?
Yeah, I see this. Up to 6 months special financing.
Yeah, put it on your credit card. All right, that's a very U.S. North American behavior. And the one I really love, Andre, do you see the one other free gift in this ad at the top there? There it is. Vladislav is helping you.
Free TV?
You get a free TV, and not just any TV, a 32-inch TV, when you buy the mattress.
That's pretty big. That's this big.
Yeah, that's huge. No wonder that sheep looks upset.
That's big.
That's a big TV.
32 inches. 32 inches. Maybe 0.8 of a meter, something like that.
And before we leave this ad, I did want to point out what Vladislav said. Look at all of the mattress sizes right here in order, from your twin to full to queen to king to I've never even heard of a California king. Professor Marston, did you type something about that?
That was me.
Oh, that was Carly.
Yeah. So the California King mattress is good for people who are especially tall.
Ah.
Yeah. So I'm pretty tall, and so I would prefer. I mean, a king bed is huge, but if you want a lot of extra room with two people, then sometimes if one or both of you is tall, a California King is a good option because it's longer.
I have never heard of that. You taught me this morning.
Now these little charts, I like these little charts. They strike me as very, very useful. And in addition to the size and the name, you also have these little. It also tells you like how many people can be in bed, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got the little heads.
It's very hard to get two people in a full-size bed.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. Well, I think all of you scientists, you would really like having this chart because, boy, that's the kind of thing that scientists like, charts and graphs. Good.
By the way, I wonder if our system of determining mattress sizes is sort of unusual in the United States because I came here to Finland, and I was trying to get a mattress, and I was trying to explain kind of what size I wanted, and I said, what about a queen-sized mattress? No idea. And it's just the whole system of even putting a bed together, the different components to it is completely different than what I was used to. So.
Did you get a bed that was long enough?
No. No, not really. And it's still, yeah, I just may do. Most of the time, if people want a bed that's even wider or something, I don't know that you can get them longer here, but they have to buy maybe 2 twin beds, and they just sit them literally next to each other, and that's the solution to the problem. I don't know.
Aren't there tall fins?
Yeah, I've seen a few, but usually the women tend to be pretty short. Not that should make a difference, but I don't know. That was an interesting experience.
I don't think any of us celebrated President's Day by buying a mattress, but maybe next year.
Maybe next year.
It sounds like Carly's experience is the most recent.
Yeah.
In our last 10 minutes today, I'd like to go back to the notion of culture. Professor Marston and Lero and Storm all talked a little bit about culture. And I'd like us to make a list. We need some vocabulary. We need some words for how we describe another culture. So I'd like us to think about America and Americans today, U.S. North American culture, and give me some words that describe Americans. If you had to describe Americans, just one word, everybody's going to add one word, what would that word be? Dasha, why don't you start us off? What word comes to mind, maybe an adjective, that describes Americans, Dasha? And Dasha, it can be positive or negative. We won't be insulted.
The first thing that brings to my mind is free.
Freedom,
Free.
right.
Freedom.
Very nice. Vladislav, can you give us one word?
I think no. maybe technology.
Ah, technology loving. Yes, I like that. Saleh, can you give us a word?
Maybe conformism.
Conformity?
Conformity, yes.
Yeah. Very nice. So free freedom, conformity,
Ambitions.
What was that?
Ambitions.
Ambitious. Yeah, I like that one too. Is that whiteboard updating, Carl?
There we go.
Ah, there they are.
Yeah,
There
it
they
should
are.
be. Sometimes it takes a minute.
It takes a little bit, doesn't it? Yeah. Nastya, what would be one word you might use?
Maybe punctual.
Punctual, yes. Go ahead.
Said only one word.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
And Professor Marston said that too, right? We Americans love deadlines. Who's up here? Lisa, what word would you add?
I can add only one word.
Yeah, well, two. You want to do two?
So, as I can understand from this class, I can say my word is heads on mountain.
Say that again.
It's on the mountain.
Heads on mountain.
Heads on mountains.
It's on mountains. Ah, okay.
Okay.
I like it.
How about dramatic or monumental?
Monumental, yes. There's a
Monumental.
good word.
Monumental.
Excellent word, because it's a monument, and we like to do things monumentally, or dramatic.
Dramatic, uh-huh.
Very nice. Kate, what word would you add?
I think it's very different and maybe independent.
Yes, very good word. I like that. Independent. Would anybody else like to add one or two more words? Anybody in the group?
Well, I'd like to add guns, I guess.
Andre, I left you out. Sorry. Yes,
Okay.
you said what?
Guns. No, firearms.
Guns, right.
Yes.
Oh boy.
Yes.
Now listen, we have been watching the Olympics of all these past couple weeks. How about maybe watching the Olympics? Would you have a word to describe Americans?
Davis White. Two words.
Hmm?
2 words. Davis White. I like figure skating. That's why.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah. I was going to say competitive, but then again, that describes all of the Olympians, athletes, all of the Olympic athletes. So never mind.
And next week, we will talk a little bit more about the Olympics. Some of our Olympic athletes use some very interesting language when they talk, especially Sage Kotzenberg. I like listening to him. He speaks English, but I don't understand a word he says.
Where is he from, Professor Smith?
California.
He looked like a Californian.
Yeah.
Very gnarly.
Gnarly dude.
He's stoked.
Stoked, yeah.
In so many ways. All right, let's start a second list now. And I'll add a whiteboard, Carly. Can we do the same thing for Russia and Russians? What are some words you would use to describe Russians? Andre, we'll start at the top of the list. We'll let you do the first one.
Well, I like words motherland.
Motherland, yeah. Patriotic, maybe we would say, right? Very nice. Kate, what word would you add to describe Russians?
Well, they're very different. I don't know how to say it, but
Different among themselves?
yes.
So perhaps diverse?
Diverse, that's the word I'm looking for.
Maybe
Exactly.
contradictory.
Ah, okay. Let's do both. Let's do diverse and contradictory.
Sure.
Lisa, what word would you add?
Poetic.
Say again.
Poetic.
Political.
Poetic.
Oh,
Oh, wait.
poetic. Poetic. I like poetic better than political. We're getting closer, Professor Lira. Nastya, what word would you add?
Hospitable.
Hospitable?
Hospitable? Very nice, yes. Saleh, what would you add?
Undisciplined.
Undisciplined. Spoken like a true teacher. Very nice. Vlad.
Huge.
Huge?
Yes.
Huge in what way? Geographically?
Geographically and difference of climate.
Okay.
And Dasha, what would you add?
I think multicultural.
Multicultural. I like that. Well, we are just coming up on the end of our class, and we are going to have to wrap it up today. But when we're going to ask you to do two things for homework. The first is prepare your elevator speech, and we will send you an email, and you will see your homework in Webalong as well. Prepare your elevator speech, and then we are going to ask you to write us a short composition in the blogs on Webalong describing one paragraph. You may describe either Russian culture or American culture, and you're going to write in composition form. Elevator speech, please come prepared to class next week to reintroduce yourself with your elevator speech. And we will send you directions, but you will write a paragraph for us and post it on Webalong, and you will describe either U.S. culture or Russian culture for us. And we will continue talking on this culture theme next week.
And I would also like to add that if you have not done your oral fluency recording, please do that first. I know that you didn't get the information about it very soon because we didn't have your email addresses, but this is an assignment which you will repeat at the end of the semester so that we will have a gauge of your oral fluency and you will be able to see the progress that you have made. So please make sure to do that in a punctual way.
Also, we should probably just reiterate did we decide on 48 hours or 36 hours? Because I had initially said 48 hours before class when assignments are due.
Yes, so assignments will be due on Sunday, your time. So we don't want everybody to be undisciplined. I will borrow Saleh's word. we'll ask you to do your homework early, and you will find all the details on the Webelong site to tell you what you need to work on.
And that is Sunday, midnight, Omsk time.
Sunday in Omsk. Please have your homework done by Sunday in Omsk.
Good night.
And that is pretty important for all of us because we review your comments, we read them, and then we make feedback. We provide you with feedback, and this can take some time. That's why we ask that this is done by Sunday at midnight your time, so that we can get this feedback to you. Otherwise, it becomes too difficult.
And the other reason, of course, is that there's a 13-hour loss between you all and us. So give us time to work on that. I want to say one more thing about Thomas Jefferson. Would it be okay if I just completely change the subject for a moment?
Yes, let's end on Thomas Jefferson.
Thomas Jefferson. When John F. Kennedy was the President of the United States, he had a dinner at the White House where he invited all of the American Nobel Prize winners and all of the American Pulitzer Prize winners. And he looked at these brilliant men and women, and he said, boy, there's certainly a lot of brain power here this evening. There hasn't been this much brain power in the White House since the last time Thomas Jefferson dined here alone. There hasn't been this much brain power in the White House since the last time Thomas Jefferson dined here alone. I'm a big fan of Thomas Jefferson.
And on that quote, we are going to wish everybody a good President's Day week. And we'll go out thinking about Thomas Jefferson, and we look forward to seeing you all next week. We, I think, had a wonderful discussion. Everybody was very involved, lots of good practice. And I would also remind you what Professor Marston said. Today, it may have seemed like we were speaking very, very quickly, but each day you come, it gets better and better very quickly. So please plan to join us next Tuesday. Thank you all for your engagement and your words, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Good to meet you all.
Nice to meet all of you.
Looking forward to it.
See you next week.
Thank you.
Do you know how to log off?